We're back in action, man. We had a little bit of break. We're coming back. We got a little guest on today. Bring you a little flavor, man, a little bit of life experience, and we're super excited about having him on. We'll introduce him here in a second, but thanks to everybody who's been supporting us on social media and subscribing to our YouTube. We're trying to make this thing bigger and spread in the valley. So if you know anybody, tell a friend, phone your family members. I don't care if they're in South America. Hook a brother up, man. But we'll get into it today. We're going to talk a little bit about just life and different disciplines and stuff. So we'll start off, man. We'll introduce them. You want to introduce them to him?
Yeah. So, Nick McDonald, he just started with us just a little over a year ago now. Went through our academy, the 19-1?
19-1, yeah.
19-1 through the Glendale Academy, and he was on his probation year on my truck with me for a while. So we had a lot of good times, man. Got to know each other really well. And I've learned a ton of stuff from him already, man. Just, from the mental side of things. And, he's got a really cool life story and background. So I think it'd be really good, man, bringing somebody else in here that can talk about it from a completely different perspective and with what we know. So something that people that are in the fire service or not in the fire service can all relate to. So do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure, man. And I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me out here. It's pretty cool, especially what you guys are doing with all this, man. It's unique and it's awesome, and I'm appreciative of you guys bringing me on. But yeah, man. Long story short, I grew up. I was an Army brat growing up, big family. Both my parents served. Lived all over the country, even the world, and most of my life was in Michigan. But right here. You know what that is? Right there. But I got two brothers and a sister. Kind of a unique story, but my mom passed away when I was 14. My dad left me and my siblings, and we ended up getting split up. I ended up moving in with another family, and they kind of took care of me growing up, and still to this day, they're, big part of my family. Still close to my brothers, rehash it with my dad. Everything's good. But yeah, I think having that, that upbringing set me up pretty well for the fire service. But yeah, after all that, went to college, got a scholarship, played football, ended up making it to the highest level and playing the NFL. And then yeah, here I am now. So.
He talks about it like it's like
I
just made it to the NFL, the highest level.
So tell him what teams you got to play for.
I played for Green Bay, New England, and Cleveland.
Okay, and then it was your rookie year, and then you won with Green Bay. You won a Super Bowl with them, right?
Yeah, rookie year, man.
Which Super Bowl was it?
It was 45.
45 against the Steelers.
XLV against the Steelers.
Damn,
awesome.
going against the
Steelers,
dude.
Got to play with Charles Woodson on his team.
Just some average players, man.
I think that's why we got along so well. He was just used to playing with high level people. So once he got with me, it was just like
it's natural.
Like he was Tom Brady again.
He's back. He's back in the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady's back. He makes me take snaps from him every morning before I call.
He's like blue damn.
Yeah.
No, I just think you like getting up under my ass a little bit.
A little bit of both.
So
even in the middle.
What about your college? Where'd you play college at?
Grand Valley State University in Michigan, West Side. So it's about right here.
Yeah, so anybody wondering, people from Michigan, John and Nick do this weird thing where they show you what part of Michigan they're from based off where on their palm it is. And so if you see that, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, if you're watching this at home, look up the United States map and look at Michigan. It looks like a hand.
Dude, I had a heyday in Michigan. We'll get into that one day, boys. But woo! Oh man. So even that level going to college, you got recruited at what high school you went to?
Yeah, so I went to schools Henry Ford II, just north of Detroit in Sterling Heights, and then I was recruited by a bunch of schools. I was actually a wide receiver in high school.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I wasn't really recruited by any big time schools. I ended up going to a Division II school, and what they did was they just put a tape together of me blocking DBs, not catching balls, just blocking fools. And they're like, yeah, that guy's an offensive lineman, and transitioned me into that. I got a scholarship and went to a really good school, man. We won a lot of games, played in a lot of national titles, D2. So it's cool, man. It was a great experience.
I love that, dude. I love that. Like I used to think in high school, man, I was like, oh, I got this. I got this. I went nowhere. So just to go to that level and have that mindset, man, the discipline. Like, what do you think going from the high school to college and then to that highest level of the NFL? What did it take as far as like discipline and mindset?
Yeah, so it's really weird, man. In high school, I never really thought about playing college football. I mean, I thought it was awesome. It was always a dream of mine, but I never really thought that that would be a possibility, until my senior year. And then transitioning from, you're the top guy in your high school, and you're going to college. And it's grown men. You're 18 years old, and you got teammates that are 22, 23, been there for 4 or 5 years, and now you're just at the bottom of the totem pole again, And so you're thrown into this mix, and it's crazy, man. We came in with like 30 guys in my class, and we graduated. I think there was like 7 of us. That made it all the way through because it's a big transition, man. It takes a lot of discipline and sacrifice. You sacrifice that college life, the partying. You gotta learn how to manage your time right by going to school because it's football all year round. It's not like high school, football season's over, let's move on to the next sport. Like, no, you get a little bit of a break, but then you're doing that off-season stuff, and you have a lot of sacrifice, man, pushing yourself physically and mentally because, if you don't, you're not going to play, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have those opportunities, so it's a
'Cause
lot.
I'm sure at that level now you can't just rely on I'm just more athletic than everybody else. You know that
Just
that,
my
that
skill,
worked in
yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work there. So
Yeah.
and especially the discipline because at that point that was about the time when your dad took off and you guys got split up, right? In high school.
Yeah.
It was in high school. So I mean that's a usually a perfect scenario for somebody to lose a lot of self discipline and take on a victim mentality and take on the woe is me. But it sounds like the family that took you in really kept your head on, and obviously you got to have a lot of self discipline
100%.
to keep your head right to go
Yeah.
to that next level. So
Yeah, and I think it was tough, going through that stuff. And luckily, I had amazing people around me, good friends, just good quality friends, man, that, were on the right path themselves. And in sports, man, sports was everything to me, and I loved it. And that's what kind of kept me on that path and, helped out.
Were you talking about discipline, and you hear all these videos of, see all these motivational speakers and a lot of different athletes that they say self-discipline, you put in the time waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, grinding, like you hear The Rock, you hear Jocko, like Eric Thomas, I listen to them a lot, and they're saying they're up like early in the morning before everybody else working out, and like throughout the day doing multiple things to stay self-disciplined. Did you do stuff like that, like wake up early and multiple drills throughout the day, or how was your like routine to stay at that level and continue?
Yeah, I think in college they set you up for it, right? They set you up for success. It's just a matter of you're going to put it in or not, because they can't babysit everybody. And yeah, absolutely, I would like to get up as early as I can because you can only schedule classes, you know, in the morning or at night. The whole day is blocked off for football, so you got to find out, figure out what's going to work for you and getting it in, and that's when guys start getting weeded off, man. And they help you out with the lifting and the training and all that, but it all comes down to mentality, man, is what gets you to that next level. And it took me a little bit, man. It did. It took me a little bit in college to figure it out, but the best way that I can explain what got me to that highest level in the NFL was fear, and
Wow.
is overcoming that fear and letting go of fear for yourself is the best way I can explain it. Like sacrificing your body, being able to do that, because that sets you apart from a lot of guys, man. Your game just changes. You're more aggressive. You think faster and you play carelessly, but it's controlled chaos. And I, you could be super talented dude and have all the athletic ability, but if you can't find that next, that switch, it's hard to explain, man. You're just an average guy.
So what made you find that next switch? What did you have to use?
So what I did was I was getting a lot of the coaches were on me, and you'd be surprised, man. The names I was called, like in college from our coaches, they didn't hold back, man. They did not hold back, and I was sick and tired of like, why are these guys treating us like this? How am I not performing? But like, I know I can do this, and it was weird, man. I just kind of progressed, and I got started getting stronger, and I can't tell you an exact moment of when it happened, but I just started playing that way, and my game took off, my mentality took off, and it helped me, get to that highest point.
Hmm.
So,
And Zach knows me very well with this, man. He always makes fun of me. I'm a huge underdog story guy, so I love the underdog story, man, because I kind of always feel like I relate to it, But especially your journey into, every kid in high school. I know when I was playing high school football, it was I'm going to this big D1 school,
hmm
and you went to the D2 school and still did very well there. And then from there, your dream is I'm going to go to the NFL. And so, how did that go now as far as what things do you have to overcome? Because we always picture that the guys that say they went to the NFL just, you were always really good at football. You got drafted, you got this giant contract, and you just got easy street to go be a pro partier. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And just live the life. So what was that like getting picked up by the NFL?
yeah. I think my transition into the NFL is a little different, from what people see. Being a D2 guy, didn't really hit me until probably the end of my junior year, and then those scouts started coming in, right? But the way I looked at it is like, I'm not focusing on the NFL right now. I'm focusing on my senior year. I want to win a championship, and I'm the only senior offensive lineman on the team. Like, this is my team. These are my guys.
Awesome.
I want to be here for them. Like, this is my season, so I'm gonna take care of my guys, right? This is it. So I didn't let any of that outside noise affect me, and ultimately I think that helped, man, because I wasn't stressed about it. I wasn't worried about my game film and what it was gonna look like for the NFL. It just kind of naturally happened. But then after the season, you get your agent and you start doing all the combine stuff, and you don't know what's going to happen. It's all up in the air, man. And just when that draft day comes, I was hoping to get drafted, but it didn't, and it ended up working out anyways. And I signed as a free agent with the Packers, and I ended up making the roster as a free agent. So, I mean, it was
And winning a Super Bowl.
winning a Super Bowl, man.
Fascinating,
It's
dude.
we were watch Super Bowls at my uncle's house with a little chubby kid, man, just eating pizza, and then look back, 20 years later, man, it's
You're there.
crazy.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, but
Should have brought it, man.
Yeah,
So,
and then
Oh.
that next season you got picked up by the Patriots, right?
Yep,
And then you went to the Super Bowl with them.
did back-to-back years Super Bowl. We lost, but it was still, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
man. Like,
yeah,
who
man.
can say that
You
they
played two full seasons, your first two
Yeah.
seasons
Two
in.
I
years,
barely,
yeah,
I
about
couldn't even
two
afford
Super
a
Bowls.
ticket to go to the game. You were in the game.
Yeah, man.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were still trying to pay our cable to watch the game.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, man. It's. I just feel blessed, man, and lucky and fortunate that I was able to have that experience and live a little kid's dream, man. That's what it was. So.
Well, and I think the biggest thing with you too, man, that I really admire is you've done all those things, but you don't act like it. You don't carry this little persona or this attitude like you're better than anybody because you've done this, man. And I think you do a really good job of showing people this is why I was able to do this. This is how I did it, rather than I'm bigger than you because I can do this. I did this and you didn't. So I think that's a big thing too. And like I said, just the whole story about how none of that journey was easy for you. You didn't get the first round big contract, get drafted, get to be on TV, showing everybody, and you still kind of stepped up and did it, man. You still made it to that level. So I think that part's bigger, and it's probably a huge reason why you are the way you are now. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I do. I think that a lot of guys do get that mentality, and the way I look at it, like, I'm a human being, and I was lucky to play football at the highest level. That's it. It's just a game, man. It's just a sport, and it doesn't make me better than anybody else, man. It just makes me lucky and blessed that I was able to do that, and you know, there's no difference between any of us here.
So now going into what was your switch or what was your interest now into going into the fire service?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I was 300 pounds when retired from the NFL, and I knew I had more. I knew I wanted to do something else. It's a weird transition. I was almost 30 years old, getting out of the NFL, and it's like it all starts all over again, you know. And it's not like you just graduated college and you have your job set up for you, you know, and what you're going into. I'm 30 years old and I'm starting all over again. And but I always had a plan, and service was always something to me. Both my parents served. My mom was a nurse. I knew I'd regret not serving my country somehow. So I joined the army. I lost all the weight, lost close to 100 pounds, and within 2 years, I was joined the army. Ended up getting hurt, but I went in. I wanted to be a special forces medic. That was my plan. I was only in for the basic training part. I got hurt, but I didn't realize how much I loved medical stuff, man. I loved my hands-on. I loved seeing it. Like it was just cool learning about the body and how a human can fix another human from like such a tragic,
Mm-hmm.
you know, injury. And I got out and it's like, all right, what's next? You know, I got hurt. I'm like, all right, ready to start over again. And I didn't know anybody in the fire service, man. I didn't know one single person. And I met with a San Diego firefighter. He was like a recruiter or something like that. And we
Because you were
sat
living
down.
in California.
I
at
was
the time,
living
right?
in California at the time, and he kind of told me what I needed to do, and that was my transition. You know, I knew I had a plan. I wanted to do it, and I wanted to serve and serve somehow. And you know, I knew the fire service. I understood it based off of, you know, how much it reminded me of being in the locker room again. You know, seeing those guys and having that camaraderie and that just having purpose again, man. And it's something that I wanted, and I went for it. So.
That's a crazy mindset, man. Just going from the highest level, then starting all over, and then having people like you come into our in room and testing and like starting from ground zero and like reestablishing yourself and your confidence, man. Like it's almost like you get there, stop. You get there, stop. Like going through that's got to be a lot of stress and pressure, but if you have already had that mindset built in you, I mean, it just takes you to a whole nother level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And what would you say your mindset? I know these guys were part of the testing process
Hmm.
and got to see you as you were testing. You know, before we really got to know you, what was your mindset going into that and trying to get hired? And what what kind of things did you have to? You feel like you kind of focused on showing of you.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a whole nother thing, interviewing, right? I mean, you guys all know it's stressful, it's time. I was insane about it. I had a 40-hour work week job, and I did this trying to interview, you know, and it was really my job. You know, I went to work and worked on my interview prep. You know, I didn't do anything, and I was crazy about it, man. I flew all over the place. I put a lot of time and sacrifice. People thought I was insane for what I was doing, and then prepping for this interim academy for the hiring process, man. It was I didn't expect it, honestly. I didn't know what it was gonna go like because I did a couple other like the CPAT stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that you would do, and none of that stuff seemed very hard. I'm like, this is it. And then I came out here, man, your guys' program. I was sore for like a week, man. But it was cool. You guys applied everything and the mental side of it and the physical side, you know, and then finding out more about how that process works, you know, it was really eye opening. And I thought it was probably the best process that I've ever been through, you
Nice.
know.
What was that feeling, man? Like getting that phone call. You go through the interview, and it's that stressful enough, and then you get that phone call like, "Hey, you made it to the next step." How was? I mean, you've made it to the NFL, you know, and you've won a Super Bowl. Those emotions that have to be super high. But like, how was it? And not to compare, but how was your emotions? Like, oh, cool, I made it to the next level, and like you're starting off again, and then getting there. Like, what you feeling, and what obviously you're saying you're sore from the interim because we were all part of it, and we
Yeah.
got to see you go through it. But what was those emotions like?
And it's giving me goosebumps right now just thinking about it. But it was I cried. I cried like a little baby, man. I got that call from the chief, and I was ecstatic, man. It was I didn't cry when I got picked up on an NFL team. I'll tell you what. I think this is to me this is bigger. You know, it's not a game. You know, it's a career. It's something that I worked extremely hard for as well, and you know, it was. I was on cloud nine, man.
That's awesome, man. I remember, you know, we hearing like, hey, we got this NFL player coming in, like,
He never said it though. ever.
never-
It was funny, dude. We all knew it, but you never said it.
Never said
We're
it.
always waiting for him. Like he's gonna come in. He's
Yeah.
he's gonna be the alpha, the big dick, and never once talked about it. That was humbling, just right there,
and
man.
I think we all remember that moment where the coolest thing that we saw with his interim was obviously his size just towered over everybody, right? But to see him that big and run the 2 miles away he did. But one of the funniest things was they're doing the pike pull or push press on the dumbbells or barbells, and he had guys leaning on him like, hey, lean up against me, man. He had guys leaning on him to rest, like. That was cool, man, and the leadership that you showed there was cool, man. We were ignoring the fact that you played NFL, at that level because we were staying disciplined to ourselves and our standards and our expectations to like not take the name away from it. Put in the hard work, and you did, man. You crushed it, and obviously the discipline that you had coming from that professional level helped there, but your leadership and your mentality of like, hey. We never, like Zach saying, we never knew that you played NFL. And you never said it. So it was pretty cool, man. It was super humbling on your part and us to be like, that's so cool that this guy has made it to the highest level of professional sports and he's testing for us. Like, there's bigger departments and there's, other processes he can be going through. And yeah, he's here, and a lot of people say, oh, just get on so you can make it to the next level or you can grow from there, but it's cool that you're here with us, man. So
And we wanted to drive that up front too, man. To like, hey, dude, you come into this, we're gonna take care of you. I think part of that interim is the mental, physical side, but also the emotional side of like, this is not a front. What you see out here is that we wish we could be doing this with you. Like, it takes everything from those captains out there to like, no, you guys can't do that. Like, no, we'll do the skills course first. We'll show them. Like, no, stop, you guys.
I don't know if you noticed, like, once you guys would run a 5-inch, like, we would compete against ourselves, running 5-inch and pulling it in and, like, dragging the tire.
They
Like,
keep pulling us back.
Yeah, we wanted to get a workout, too, just because we want, like, I think our family and the way we are, our culture in our department, like, we want to be a part of it. We just don't want to sit there and be like, well, do it. We want to show you that we can do it, and lead by example, and, like, that way you guys take a little bit more pride in it.
Your
you
future
definitely
brother and
felt
sisters.
it.
Yeah.
You definitely felt it,
Yeah.
and I left out of there like, man, that was so cool. As exhausted as I was mentally, physically, it was just so cool, man. I didn't want to go anywhere else. And think about any other department, all I want was Goodyear. I had that talk with my wife, and she was like, hey, what about this place? I'm like, Goodyear. That's where I want to go. So
That's awesome, man. That's
Humbling.
awesome. It's so cool to see you now growing. We've heard you working with Hugo on his truck, and now you're bouncing around a couple other stations, man. And it's just
Future medic too, dude.
It's awesome.
Dang,
Congrats, yeah, you
boy.
just passed that test, man.
Thanks,
And
man.
That's cool. You're working towards that dream. I was there a couple days ago when you passed your test, and just seeing the emotions in you guys' eyes, man. That happiness, like all 8 of you, how you guys passed. You're our first class to pass. All you guys passed, and it's so cool, man. So for me, it's exciting to see you guys like so fresh, so new, like eager and your drive and like you guys want it. So it's so cool, man, to see that. So congrats on
I
passing the
appreciate that,
test,
man.
and it'll be exciting to have you as a medic here soon. So
So do you feel like at all it was hard or kind of, I mean, obviously I don't think it was hard for you because we saw it, but what was your mindset going from I've done these things in my life to now I have to listen to these guys in a hiring process or be a probationary firefighter and listen to John was your senior fireman for a while and you were on my crew and that, but just getting yourself back to that humble learner, mode again. What was that like for you?
I felt like it was easy. I'm not gonna come in acting like I know a damn thing, because I don't, and I know the guys around me do, and it's like being a rookie all over again, man. It's like learning a whole new playbook, and you got to rely on the guys next to you, these older guys who are in those leadership roles to take that young guy under his wing and teach you the way, and for me, it's like I just wanted to soak it all in, every day that I'm around, you guys, and it's something that I take pride in. It's important to me. So like I'm not gonna act like I know it all because I don't. And I'm okay to admit that. I'm okay to be vulnerable. Like I don't care that I'm 33 years old and I'm a new guy in the fire service. I take pride in that, and I'm excited about it, and I'm just ready to learn and keep growing from you guys. And I think it was just easier for me I didn't take it personal, and I didn't think that I was better than anybody else, and I just took it for what it was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you've worn the gear at the NFL level and done I'm sure some crazy drills and some crazy workouts, but you know, you said you've lost all that weight. How's that transition? How do you feel as far as not so much comparing the workouts, but how was putting on the gear versus just shoulder pads, now full turnout gear, SCBA, and going to work like that? What was your difference, or how do you feel?
Yeah, it's a big difference. You know, it's a completely different type of training. You know, you put your pads on and you're really how long does a play last for? Maybe 5 6 seconds. You know, so you're really just sprinting for 5 6 seconds, moving big weight. But there's a difference, man. It's a different kind of feel on your body. You know, pushing through that and grinding. You're going for a long time, and you know, it's more mental, you know, pushing through all that, you know, because it's easy when if you're in the right technique in football, you know, you're in the right shape, you're strong enough that you're gonna be okay, you know, you're not gonna gas out, you know, but in here it's way different, you know.
Yeah, and then to throw on top of that, if you gas out, you know your life's now in danger if you're
Exactly.
in a bad situation. That's cool, man, to hear that, because a lot of people come in. You know, we've had CrossFitters, we've had different levels of fitness come in and do our interim or even our cadets, and they're like, oh, I'm in pretty good shape, and they get one taste of full turnout and they're gassed.
Yeah.
You know, and it is, you know, they call it CrossFit, all these fits, but this is like fire fit. You know, we have that name to it too, where you're restricted now. You know, and that's one thing that hopefully in the future you can pass on, you know, to the cadets and the future firefighters. It's a whole different level. People's like, oh, I can squat this much or bench this much, but it's not about that. It's that stamina, endurance, and different type of fitness. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
That's a fun part, man, especially if you're claustrophobic too, man. The fire service, putting a mask on and breathing that for the first time and breathing down a bottle and trusting that people around you, you're going to be safe, man. That's a mental mindset right there, dude. That talk about fear. I remember putting the mask on and breathing down. I had no experience coming to academy. And that you have that just build of anxiety. Your heart rate goes up and this and your thoughts, dude. And I just remember like, God, go to your happy place, man. Please go to your happy place.
Well, that first skills course of every academy is always the memorable one, because that's where you start seeing that panic and that almost quit sometimes, and you know, the emotional fatigue that hits people. You see that a lot. I mean, I'm sure you saw it in yours.
Yeah.
And then as you go, everybody learns to kind of cope with it and work around it, man. And it's I think it helps because you're around other people who are doing it. You know, so you're around other people that you get to see, man, they're working through this. I want to rip this mask off my face and get this gear off me, but these guys are still going, so I'll keep going, you know.
Yeah.
So
And that's what's so cool. Like, I take a lot of pride in our crew, working with Zach and a lot of all of us, man. You know, we push ourselves so hard on a daily basis on shift with the skills courses, just so we can obviously stay in shape and be ready for that call, but also show the others, the new firefighters coming in, like, hey, we're doing it, so it's okay, you know, because they're gonna freak out, like, hey, man, this is tough. But like you're saying, that mindset, once you get your mindset, you're like, hey, push through it. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be sore. It's gonna, you know, you're gonna breathe hard. But I think once they see other people doing it, they're like, oh, okay, they're doing it, so now they can follow. So.
But he had key points, technique and the mindset and like knowing your body, recovery, you know, not pushing yourself. I know when I get to 75, I stop. You know what I'm saying? Because I need that 25 to recover. And if we get a fire right now, there's very particular things. I know my body and I know my ego, but I check my ego like, hey man, I don't need to do this right now. You know, like sometimes it's really weird to find that ego point and that vulnerability, and I'm sitting in that pocket. I love the mindset piece of it. If you are okay to say, I'm done. You know, if you don't have that, and you're going to learn the hard way.
Yep.
And it takes time and telling you guys, hey, man, I promise you, I know you want to kill it in front of everybody, but go to this point, fill your body, and then you know that's the level you always can go to. You build off of that.
And having guys also supportive. You know, you and Bailey did it perfect. I tapped out, you know, on a skills course a couple months ago before I got hurt. You know, you saw me. I only did one round. I'm used to doing 2 rounds and doing it hard. But the support that I got after that was like, hey, man, it's okay, cool, you're ready. And me also knowing, like, hey, if I could do one more round, but if we got that call, then I'd be in trouble now. I'm jeopardizing your guys' life because, like, I'm going to be slacking. So having those guys around you say, hey, man, it's okay.
And just being vulnerable to know we all have our bad days. And we talked about that when we all worked together. We all had our day. It was funny, man, where I'd go, all right, you guys want to get a workout in? and nobody answers. Everybody just stares at me, and it's like it's my cue to go. Okay, all right, I'll make us go. I'll get us to go, and let's just go do something. It doesn't have to be crazy, but we all had that day where we motivate each other, but just being confident enough to be vulnerable to say, you know, man, I'm kind of having a rough day today, man, and everybody around you going, okay, cool. You kind of seem like instead of 100, you're at 75 today, so we're
Yeah.
gonna take your extra 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and helping each other out and just knowing because it's gonna come back. We all have our bad days. We've all had it. We had that one fire where you're just like, man, what is going on? I just don't have it today. What's wrong with me? You know, we've all had that. So uh, just having good people around you that you know you can count on for that. So
And one thing I want to point out, man, that he said was pretty cool, Nick, is that you start off, you got out of the NFL around 30, and you started your fire career around 33. You're 33 now, but some people think that it's over. Once you hit that 30-year-old or a little bit older, like you don't have a chance. I know we get a lot of cadets that are like, well, I'm 32, I'm 35, 36. As long as you have this and this, man.
Yep.
You put in the
True.
work. We've had some individuals we've hired at older age, and we don't discriminate against that.
Mhm.
You put in the work, and we have some stellar guys that are in their mid 40s, 50s. Rick rows and runs.
Dude,
and
look
Manny.
at Manny.
Yeah.
and
Manny was a
and that-
grinder in
that
our
farm
academy,
life,
dude.
too, those guys.
And that's the big message, man, is we don't want everybody to think like you got to be an NFL caliber athlete to
Yeah.
make it. I mean, I get it. I'm right there. But I mean, for all your average Joes,
I chose a different
you
path.
guys, yeah, I went straight to service. I had to turn that other stuff down. No, but you don't have to be at that level of a freak athlete to do it. What I didn't have in that athletic ability, I had in heart, and I had in mindset and everything else. So it's for anybody out there who thinks they may want to do this or whatever journey you're pursuing in your life. Mental toughness will carry you through a lot of things, man. And Adriana and I had a talk last night about mental toughness stuff, and I kind of got vulnerable and mushy with her, and she was saying, you seem like you're getting stressed. I can tell you and your guys are all stressed out. Why don't you take some days off? And I remember telling her, and she totally like clicked with it too. Was I said, with this whole COVID thing going on right now, it's so high level stress with everything. I said every shift it goes through my head. Call in tomorrow. Just call in. Take a day off. Get your mind right. Don't go in. But I told her it starts to make me mad because then I go, man, I'm getting mad that this situation is making me feel this. It's making me want to quit. And I told her I feel like I'm quitting if I don't. If I don't go there with these guys, I feel like we're quitting each other. So I always wanted to take these days off. Believe me.
Yeah.
Plenty.
I get it.
But it's just in my head where I'm going, no. And I told her, it sounded funny, and she said the same thing after this shooting. We had this unfortunate shooting the other day, and she said, I don't want this to mentally make me scared to live our life, And, but I told her the other day, I said, I feel like this is back in high school where some big punk wants to fight you, and you get that fear of like, man, maybe should I just stay home? And then you get mad because you're like, no, I'm not going to let this person make me feel like I should stay home and be scared and be nervous. So I'm getting that feeling again with this, but it's weird. It's just, it kind of goes back to that mindset. So if you have that in you, it just translates to whatever scenario you're in, whatever situation you're in, I feel like it comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you've noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you're dealing with these situations, it always comes down. I think you can handle anything with mental toughness, man. Anything, whether it's family life, you're going to go through so much adversity in the fire service and, at home. Like, I got a baby on the way.
Oh, that's
number
awesome.
one,
Congrats.
and
Baby girl.
baby
Yeah.
girl.
So he's really be stressed out.
You got
Y'all lock it up
He's
out
gonna be
there.
as gray as Manny
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah, you got a name right already?
I do, yeah.
Have you guys heard the reason behind the name?
Yeah. So
You
what'd
guys
you name? What are you guys gonna name her?
Peyton?
You guys share that story,
Peyton
man.
Rose?
How'd you pick that?
Yeah,
It
there
was supposed to be Hugo.
It was.
Hugo.
He went to Peyton.
No, man, it's actually a pretty cool story. We had a hard time coming up with girl names. I thought it was a boy. I'm not indifferent. It's fine. Like, I would have been completely fine either way. But I just had a feeling it was a boy. Everything that was happening. But anyways, we had a hard time finding a name. And Lindsay brought up this little girl. that I knew back 10 years ago when I was playing for the Packers. So the Packers do it's a tradition where during training camp you ride a little kid's bike. They come and meet you at the locker room, and they let them inside the fence, and you pick a kid and you ride their bike. They run with your shoulder pads and helmet, and I walk out day one, rookie year, just hundreds of kids just screaming, right? Like, oh, okay. And I saw this little girl just sitting there with her hand up, not saying a word. You know what? I'm gonna ride your bike. So picked her, rode her bike. After like we got down to the practice facility, she's like, can I ride your bike after practice? I'm like, yeah, if you're here, just you see me walk out, just come up to me, I'll ride your bike. Same thing. We went back, and she asked me if I would be her season rider. I'm like, okay. Like you have to be here every practice. This is when the NFL had two-a-days.
Dang.
This little girl was there every practice before and after, and I would ride her bike. And practices were like 1 in the morning and 1 at night, So she was there all day for all of training camp. And if she wasn't going to be there, she was going to tell me. Like she told me she had a vacation. Her parents were like, I'm not going to be here for a couple days. I'll see you on Sunday. I'm like, all right, I'll see you Sunday. Showed up Sunday, right?
That's awesome.
And I ended up breaking her bike. I was 300 pounds. And I felt really bad. She brought her dad's bike like the next day. I was riding her dad's bike. So I bought her a jersey just to make up for it. And when I went to New England, her parents kept in contact with me. And her parents bought her a New England jersey of mine. And I was on Instagram. And I saw her I always kept in contact with the mom. But I saw her on my suggestions, and it was Peyton, and she got a basketball scholarship. This was over 10 years ago now. She was like 7 or 8 years old, and she got a full ride scholarship to play college basketball. It's just so cool, man. She was such a sweet girl. Her parents were amazing, and it was only Peyton that I knew, and my wife loved that name too. So essentially, we named it after her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and named our baby after her. I actually reached out to the mom and let her know too.
That's awesome.
like,
Did you
that's
still
what
have
we
you
did.
talked to her at all?
I did, yeah. I sent her a message on Instagram congratulating her, and I told her, naming our daughter after you.
And the greatest quarterback to ever live, too. Yeah.
So you can't ride a jersey. Did you ever buy her a new bike?
Yeah.
Hey, I broke your bike, but here's some clothes.
We apologize about that, Peyton. Bike's in the mail.
But yeah.
I thought a jersey was cool.
Black's on its way.
But still, she's 7 and has more discipline than me. This is what I'm talking about, man. It's a mindset. She had it there. She's probably gonna be a doctor, gonna cure cancer.
Well, and
Good for you.
And it just shows too, man. At the end of the day, like no matter how cool you think you are, no matter what kind of status you have, being a good person has an effect on people, man. Just being a good person and building this relationship with this girl probably drove her to go, I want to be this high level athlete too. Like I see, like he was a good person. He was a hard worker, and now I want that too.
It shows a lot of discipline on her to be there every day.
Yeah.
And just to do that. So that's probably what it got her.
Yeah, what little girl wants to smell stinky ass football players every day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let me hold them pads.
Yeah. Let me hold the nastiest part of besides your
Get on my bike.
Tailbone
Oh,
pad.
she rocked it, man. She wore that stinky ass helmet on her head. Like, pretty sure she put my mouth guard in and everything. Disgusting.
Hey, that's commitment, bro. Peyton, I
All
respect you. We're out there.
Doesn't
Champion.
it sound like she's gonna be a doctor? Like,
Oh,
you hear that
100%,
name,
yeah.
you hear that drive, like
yeah.
you hear that she's gonna be
Yeah.
some high level doctor. So hey, Peyton.
So I would say, man, we'll kind of end it with a little bit of things, just again for everybody, man. Is what are those main things that you feel like you've learned from the fire service, and what are the things that you really attract to and love the most about this that you can pass on to these other people who are aspiring for this kind of career or who are in it, just to remind us of this is what matters in this place.
Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, you need to remember where you came from and how hard you worked to get here, and there's nothing like this job. And I wouldn't give it up for anything. I love it. It's my career, it's my life, it's my family, it's my brothers. It's not football, man. It's not a game, and it's life and death. It's life and death with your brothers. It's life and death with the people that we see out, that we run on. And if that doesn't motivate you to be a better person, to be motivated in this career, to do better, I don't know what else is, man. It's about remembering to be humble and grateful for what you have, and being in this position and being able to serve other people, man. This is just another dream come true for me. And I think at the end of the day, like I said, just remember where you came from. And remember how hard you work and being prepared every single day. And there's nothing like this brotherhood right here, and I wouldn't trade it up, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Hey, thank you for your time, being
Yeah,
the
man,
first
thank you.
guest, dude. You're going down in history, dude.
First guest.
You just got another Super Bowl right there on you.